everybody, it's Dr. Yami and welcome to Veggie Fit Kids. Today I have with me Jane Esselstyn, which I'm so excited. Esselstyn. I'm so sorry for
No,
Esselstyn.
no one gets it right. No one.
Oh my
no
gosh. Oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing. Apologies to all the Esselstyns. I love you guys.
Gosh, no one.
Well, now I'll get it right from now
Yeah.
on. Esselstyn, but you are like a member of the plant-based royal family.
Oh.
So this is pretty amazing. Your father, Caldwell Esselstyn, is like one of the grandfathers of the plant-based movement, and I just think you guys are also awesome. So thank you for everything that you do. The talk that you just gave was amazing.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you how old you were whenever your parents made the transition for you and your siblings, and how did that go at the beginning? How did you take that?
When my parents went to a plant-based diet, or when they started this journey that has kind of come to be whole food plant-based, I was actually, when they changed over, I was 18. I was at the University of Michigan, and I called home, and my brother answered. He was still at home, and he was like, "Hey, Mommy and Daddy have stopped eating. No meat, no sugar, no oil, no salt, no fat." And I was like, "I don't know what that means. What are you guys doing? What are you guys eating? What are you not eating? What does it mean?" I remember thinking, what? But what's interesting from my angle is that I never liked meat, which is, I think some kids are that way. It's a little chewy. It doesn't have, I suppose it's like some people, how they feel about cilantro. They're like, it just doesn't, I don't like it. So I feel like in a weird way I was lucky that I had that. And so when I was about 15 years old, I stopped eating meat. I was a big swimmer, and I was swimming out in California with, in case anybody's from Mission Viejo, California, the national champion swim team. I was training with them out there, and I couldn't stand the meat that the family I was living with they got. It was so fatty, the hamburger meat. It was like oranger than your dress. It was nothing red about it. And I was like, I don't even want to eat that. I don't like it to begin with. So they said, oh, then we need to feed you beans. And I was like, what are beans? I never had, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. We never had beans. So, I've heard of like baked beans, but that's like picnics or something. So I had these bean burritos, and we were having lentil soup, and it was odd that this family that turned me off of meat so much turned me on to beans and lentils. Mm-hmm. And so I came home from that saying, hey, I don't like meat or chicken or anything anymore, and I'm not eating it. And my parents were kind of like, oh, well, like they didn't stress about it. They kind of knew like hunger's going to win, she'll figure it out. And then, not so far, in the future, they themselves were plant-based. And my dad's research had nothing to do with his picky daughter. Mm-hmm. So it was fine for me because I wasn't eating meat anyway, and dairy wasn't even off the table then. It was like they weren't eating any fatty things. So they had like no fat yogurt, no fat frozen yogurt, and they were like, oh, take it easy on the salt and the sugar. And anyway, it has changed obviously with dairy and things.
And so that's interesting because it really was an evolution. It wasn't just like this cold turkey thing. And before that, sounds like they were eating pretty standard.
My brothers would say it was cold turkey, but I was like, all right, I'll just drop that and not that, and everything whole grain. No just white rice or white flour or processed stuff. Mm-hmm.
So you eventually made the change, and you have 3 children of your own now.
Correct.
Did you raise them on a plant-based diet?
We did. My husband and I have raised them on a plant-based diet, and at home they never got any meat or milk, and they wouldn't seek that out in their life. If they went to a birthday party, we'd say, go. Be with your peers, have fun. We're not the kind of parents who send, like kids who have celiac or something, you have to send them with their
little note and stuff, right?
Their note and their cake, their whatever they could make to make them feel like they're part of the culture. We're like, go, have fun. So they would have, and they would never have like a pepperoni pizza or something, but they would have pizza, maybe pick some of the cheese off, maybe eat some of it, and they'd have the cake. I know my son just would have like a bite. He's sort of grossed out by sweets. My daughters are like, give me more, diving in. Yeah. And anyway, we let them figure it all out. And when they have birthdays. Like my son, for his birthday, we brought to school. He said, "Can you bring in for my special birthday? Can you bring in root beer and bananas?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So I went and got this fancy Virgil root beer with the no high fructose corn syrup. I'm like, I'm going to give him, yes, a hit of sugar, whatever, because we never have soda. It's not even in the house, so it's a total treat. And bananas. And so all the kids were sitting there like that. It looked like they were having like drinks and smokes. They had in this birthday. It was so funny. But I have all kinds of recipes for cakes and cupcakes, and so they've always asked for that on special occasions. But again, when they go out, make your way. They have to learn to make their way because we have to learn to make our way, and it's a constant reminder of how are we going to navigate this? Okay, we're at Chipotle. What are we all going to get? And we all get rice. I'm like, brown rice, so they get rice, and I'm like, it's really oily. Just so you know, you're probably going to get a stomach ache. And then we get the beans. I can't move on to beans, and then we get this and then that, and then da. We used to avoid the pork soaked that, and the meat here, and the cheese there, and the salad cream at Chipotle looks like white paint. Have you noticed that? It's like they're piling the paint on people's burritos. Anyway.
Yeah. So I love that, because that was kind of my next question, is to ask you what your take is on moderation. But it sounds like to me is you keep your home as healthy as possible. What you have at home is your optimum.
Like we sort of say, it's like being kosher. Like in home, it's what we do, and then it's optimal. Exactly. And then as my kids go out, like they're at homecoming tonight. I have no idea where they're going to eat or what they're going to eat, but I know they'll be like, "Is there a place that has pasta?" Like they'll they don't know quite how else to get around. In Chipotle, you can't go with your date all dressed up. Let's go to Chipotle here for homecoming. So they're figuring it out and making their way, and they're old enough. They have to be 19, 17, and 16.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it sounds like you've given them a very strong foundation, though, and then they just have to figure it out as they leave the nest. My next question is, I know that you've had some experience with pediatricians that may not be as familiar with the benefits of a plant-based diet, or may be fearful of a plant-based diet for children. What are your tips for other families out there that they may be getting told this isn't healthy, you're harming your child? Because I get questions like this all the time from emails from around the country. Is this really healthy? My pediatrician is telling me it's not. So what are your tips for these parents that are encountering
That's such a great question. It's such a legitimate concern for parents to be looking out for their kids. And plenty of pediatricians have kids who are lactose intolerant. Plenty of pediatricians have kids who are vegetarian. So it's just kind of like accepting both of those. Like, you cannot eat dairy if you have a lactose intolerance, and they understand that completely. And some kids don't eat meat, and that's fine. Some kids just don't like meat, like kids like how I was. Although I have memories of my mom forcing me to eat a hot dog from the little barbecue. Anyway, my pediatrician, my children's doctor, so their pediatrician, I'm calling him my pediatrician, but the guy with whom I interacted with my kids, every year he'd say, "So, do you have car seats, and do you have batteries in your fire alarms, and do you drink 3 glasses of milk a day with your kids?" And I'm like, yes, and no. We don't have milk, and we're never going to have milk. And you can take that question out of the computer for my kids, because you're going to see me next month and the month after that with each kid coming through with their appointment. And he, our pediatrician, Dr. Michael Mackinnon, who is head of pediatrics at the Cleveland Clinic, he amazed me. There and then he said, "That's so interesting, because the most fractures actually occur in the countries that consume the most dairy." And I was like, oh, he's open-minded, he's open-hearted, he's open to the literature. What luck. And anyway, so he adjusted to my sort of, we're never going to have no, we're not going to meet. And he actually went to see my father give grand rounds. And he listened to him as he would anybody presenting the grand rounds. And he had his own diagnosis happen, and he completely healed himself. And he's like, okay, I'm a population of 1. I can't do anything about that, but I can do pediatric research. He is the doctor, the lead doctor in the article that was up on today on the Journal of Pediatrics slide, and he's the lead in the one-year-long study we did. So he is amazing. He has the same open-heartedness when he presents about the study. He opens it by talking about my family, my kids, and what we would say, what we did, and how we were just, we're going to not have milk. We're not going to do that. We're going to do this. And how I think it's fair to say that we helped him, we nudged him along. He made the change in his own diet and his research, but we were the nudge. So I would say to parents, don't be afraid to nudge your pediatrician along. And if they don't want to change, you are absolutely free to pick up and change and find a new pediatrician who will approve of what you're doing and be supportive. There is a list or a bunch of people who are have posted themselves as doctors who support plant-based diet. It's like the pediatrician.
Plantbaseddocs.com, I believe.
Yeah, and the Pediatrician Project, I think, it's more of an international pediatrician thing, and the American College of Lifestyle Medicine is now board certifying people to be board certified in just this. So it's gaining momentum, it's gaining speed. Do not fear that you're doing any harm by anything the standard American diet. It's been quite harmful to many people and kids.
Yes, and you just have so much passion. I just want to ask you this final question. We talk about our kids, we want to take care of our families, women always do that, but I know that you're also passionate about women's health, it seems like.
Oh yeah.
What can moms do? What's the primary thing that moms can do to take care of themselves so that they're around longer to make sure that they can take care of their families?
Oh, I feel like I can play one note out of my flute. Plant-based diet, plant-based diet. Seriously, plant-based diet. And if I had only one thing to take out of their diet, it would be animal. So that means dairy and meat.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
You're sneaky.
Animals, get them out. Play with them.
Awesome.
Pet them. Don't eat them.
Jane, you're an RN, but you also contribute recipes to cookbooks. You come up with recipes. You do all kinds of teaching. Tell us about what books you have and how people can connect with you.
I have 4 cookbooks, and they are plant strong. My brother Rip Esselstyn is the author. It's very nice to have a male firefighter as the author, but the cookbook section, is like this and this. Anyway, it's so I did that cookbook, and the next book with Rip is called this Engine 2 7-Day Rescue. It's based on our 1-week-long immersions we do with people. We take biometrics before and after the 1-week immersion, and what happens in that 1 week of eating just plant-based food is stunning. And these are people who, just have not been eating that way, or they've been eating this way and they want to fine-tune it. So we had such amazing biometrics, we had to say, okay, instead of them coming to us and having them in jail with us, let's write this book so they can do it at home. So that's the second one. And third one is coming out in December. December 26th. It's called The Engine 2 Cookbook. Tricky title. And the book I did with my mom is called Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease Cookbook. And that is the companion, if you will, to my dad's book, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. And I have a great name for my business and website. Healthcare is Self-Care, but I have a horrible website name. It's HC is SC. Healthcare is Self-Care. HCissc.com. It's a pain. But
we'll make sure we put all the links below, so no worries. Jane, thank you so much for answering my questions. It has been such a pleasure to meet you and watch you live in action. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope that was helpful. Please feel free to comment, like, share with your friends, and have a plantastic day.
Thank you.
Thank you.